Welcome to another episode of Talking Nerdy in the Bedroom with
Corey,
KJ,
and Mike.
Hey, look, we're all back together. You guys showed up. Corey doesn't have COVID, so that's a positive.
I don't know if I ever had it.
I mean, you have AIDS, so there's that.
I can't do
I know, do the
cricket sound. I can't do it.
It's all right. I'll edit that so it's less time, so it sounds more natural.
That's good. That's good.
All right, so we are back, and we are going to be talking about Rick and Morty. We wanted to talk about it last week, but obviously with the COVID scare, we didn't, which is actually kind of a good thing because we got some more information about kind of what's going on with Rick and Morty. But before we get into all that stuff at the end, I want to talk about the show itself and when did you guys first hear about it? Because it's on Adult Swim, which is not a network that really they're not pumping out too many gems, let's say, at least not for our generation. I know they have a few on there, but none that have like critical acclaim at all, except for Rick and Morty. So when did you guys hear about Rick and Morty? Was it season 1?
Wasn't South Park on Adult Swim for the longest
Comedy
time?
Central.
Okay, no. It's Comedy Central.
Yeah,
Robot Chicken was though.
Yes,
yeah.
But it didn't really. I mean, it got acclaim, but that was more because of the not so much the story or the action, but it was the stop motion that kind of got them the acclaim. It was the type of style that they were doing.
So the show.
The stop motion, how the show is filmed is what they got, because it's not animated.
I mean, we can argue it, I guess, but at the same time, nothing as big as Rick and Morty.
Yeah,
I'll
by far.
Yeah,
by far.
Yeah. It definitely had other hits.
Aqua Teen Hunger Force?
Yeah, I mean, there's hits for that network, but they're not global hits that are in the... What's the word that I want to say? You think of pop music because it's popular, which means it basically has appealed to everybody, and it's in... everybody's vernacular. These other shows that they have are not. Rick and Morty is. Everybody basically knows who Rick and Morty is, and some
Rick
of the
Morty
quotes. No, who they is.
Okay,
it's all about who they is.
Were.
Well, yeah, it should be were now because who knows. Yeah. So when did you guys first hear about the show? Was it immediately during the first season where you heard of, hey, these people are putting together basically a rip-off of Back to the Future, and that's literally, if you listen to you probably shouldn't listen to one of the creators, but if you listen to the other creator, that's how it came up. It came off of a spoof that they did, or an idea spoof that they did.
Of Doc and...
Marty.
Yeah, Doc and Marty.
And then it turned into this, of being this mad scientist, and obviously then his grandson. So when did you guys first hear about Rick and Morty? Start with Mike.
Season 1.
Was it really season 1?
Yeah, I watched it right off the bat.
What drew you to it, or just because
I watched Adult Swim?
You don't have cable.
I have fucking internet.
Yeah, but so you actively went and hey, there's a new show on Adult Swim?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, I watched Brickleberry. That's on Comedy Central, but it is also on Adult Swim. Aqua Teen Hunger Force. There's a bunch of other ones that I watched on there.
Oh.
Squidbillies.
That sounds awful.
Squidbillies?
Yes.
Oh my god, fuck off.
All right. So Corey,
don't touch the trim.
Yeah, Corey.
Good reference for somebody.
Yes,
Squidbillies.
Somebody out there might be laughing, but it ain't us.
So I think I started with season 1 because Dave down at the card shop read the comics before, and
there were comics.
Yeah, it's based off comics.
It's not based off comics.
I mean, it is.
It's literally not. I don't know what you want to tell me, because I have the research in front of me. It's not about comics at all.
There was a Rick and Morty graphic novel that occurred before the show.
Was that based off of their idea beforehand?
What do you mean?
It's literally...
It could be. I don't know that part. You said that part. But there was a graphic novel beforehand. And the stuff in the graphic novel is a lot more twisted than the show.
There's no fucking way.
I see nothing about a comic right now. They produced a short film in 2004, but that, again, is based off of what I was talking about. I don't see anything about a comic, so I have no idea what you're talking about.
It takes 2 seconds of Rick and Morty comics to see all the comics.
Sure, there are comics now. Maybe after the first season they came out with comics, and that's what he kind of got into?
I don't know. I'm looking it up.
On April 1st, 2015 is when the first comic came out.
April 1st, 2015. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
and
when
the
did Rick
show
and
came out
Morty-
in 2014.
Okay. I didn't know.
Swing and a miss. All right. So he probably saw
You
the
didn't
comic.
even know there were comics.
I didn't, because I knew it
I
was
know.
a show and I knew it wasn't based
You did
on
all
a
your
comic.
research. You didn't know they had a bunch of comics.
Why would I care about the comics? I watched the
The
show.
comics are different stories.
Sure. I'm
This
sure
is
you
for
could
the
go
audience
through a
out
bunch
there.
of stuff.
I didn't know there was comics, and I don't give a shit.
See, I also don't give a shit.
All right.
All right. So obviously Dave saw there was a comic, told you about.
Or maybe
hey,
he
there's
saw
show.
the show then and referred it to me. I just know he mentioned it to me.
Gotcha. And did you like the show right away? Like episode 1?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh God. What about you, Mike? Did you like the show
God.
instantly?
Oh,
Well, I'm gonna get to it in a
your
second.
opinion. Oh God.
I know, but I'm gonna get to it in a second.
Your opinion.
What?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't like his opinion.
weird.
Did you like it in the first episode?
It wasn't as good.
Yeah, so it's not as fleshed out. I thought it was really weird, like, which was intriguing. But then again, if you watch other stuff that's on Adult Swim, it's also generally really weird, and you have to continue watching.
Okay.
So that's like an Adult Swim thing.
Yeah, that's. I don't watch many things on Adult Swim. I think the only thing I've watched on Adult Swim is Robot Chicken.
Yep.
Is Rick and Morty, and I used to watch something Children's Hospital, but that was a live action show. But they were like 7 minutes an episode.
Yeah.
And it actually was taking place in the same hospital as Scrubs. But anyway, when I was watching the first episode, because a lot of it's
Smiling Friends. I forgot about that one. That one's crazy.
a lot of the show is just ad-libbed. It's mostly Justin ad-libbing through the whole thing. That put me on like the back, like on, I don't even say defensive, but while I'm watching it, it took a while for me to warm up to that, to actually enjoy what he was trying to do.
Bob's Burgers was originally on Adult Swim.
What?
Bob's
Really?
Burgers. Yeah, 2013. Super Jails on Adult Swim.
Yeah, before it went to, did Fox buy it from Adult Swim?
I don't know.
Fox doesn't own Adult Swim, do they?
I don't know.
All right. Well, we went down a rabbit hole of other shows that are on Adult Swim.
I'm just saying, like that's the kind of stuff that we're going with.
Well, for this episode.
But again,
yeah.
like Bob's Burgers, like the first episode was just, again, it's weird, and then you're like, all right, I'll watch it.
See, I didn't really like Bob's Burgers either.
I love Bob's Burgers.
I like the guy who voices him, because he also does Archer, and I love Archer, even though his voice doesn't correlate with that. But anyway,
There's so many bad shows on Adult Swim. Holy crap.
when you guys were watching it and you realized how much of this stuff was ad-libbed and they kept in the show, that wasn't off-putting to you guys?
No, I mean, I just didn't think about it that as much as you did, I guess.
All you have to do is listen to him. He stammers through that first
I get
episode.
it.
He stammers through a bunch. Did you just think that was part of the script?
No, it just didn't really matter to me. The episode was still good. It's not my favorite episode of Rick and Morty, but it was good enough for me
Generally,
to want to watch the
pilot
second one.
episodes are pretty bad, though.
Yeah.
If you look back and watch the pilot episode of Family Guy, it's pretty fucking bad.
I just
Yes,
feel like
I agree.
you have a history of watching one episode and
I
being
was
like,
I was about to
I
get to
can't.
that.
This is so awful. And then you watch the second and the third, and you're like, oh, this show's great.
But I waited until
It's
about
like you
the
don't understand
third
that a
season.
pilot is not the
A
same.
pilot
as-
needs to hook me. You give me a pilot like Lost, and I am hooked immediately.
The only
pilot
pilot
has less
episode.
funding, and then they get funded and they do better after.
The only pilot
That's not
episode
true
that's
if
ever
you're
been
talking
good
about Lost.
is Power
What?
Rangers.
It went
just saying
downhill
in
after the
No, I'm
pilot.
saying in general.
What's that, Mike?
The only Power Rangers is the only pilot episode that's ever good.
I mean, no, Lost is like almost a perfect pilot episode.
I've
Breaking
never
Bad.
watched an episode of Lost, and I never will.
Aw.
Wings.
I don't even remember the pilot episode of Wings.
First episode of Wings was great.
Isn't that like Jag? Isn't that based off the same thing?
No, the JAG and NCIS. Wings is about a little airport
In Nantucket.
in Nantucket, and it's a comedy. It's a 30-minute comedy with Tony Shalhoub and
The guy who plays Sandman and Spider-Man.
oh yes,
He's
yes,
the
yes, yes.
mechanic.
He's the mechanic. Lloyd.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then two brothers that are the
Tony
pilots,
Shalhoub
right?
plays Antonio Scarpacci.
Yeah. So is he a cab driver or is he a vendor?
He's a cab driver.
Cab driver. Okay. Yeah,
Rick and Morty.
yeah right. Rick and Morty. Welcome to the podcast where we just go
Rick
off
and
on
Morty's
tangents.
going to do an episode about wings someday.
I don't. Well, we'll get to what Rick
I
and
don't
Morty may
think
or may
they're-
not
I
do
don't
in
think
the
they're gonna do an
future.
episode of anything.
All right. So as we kept going, were you guys just enthralled with the story and the aspect? It didn't even look like you put the connection together, Corey, with Back to the Future. I did almost immediately, but was this you coming to the realization that there are some tendencies there with a mad scientist and a kid?
Yeah, I mean, it's not crazy to me that they're related, but I just didn't know they literally said they based it off of that. It's kind of like Harry Potter is based off themes of Lord of the Rings and stuff, and like there's all these connections between things now. I don't sit there with a fine comb and go, what is this ripping off of? What is this?
I felt like if you look at the way he's dressed and his hair, it almost, to me, that's exactly who they were going for, was Doc.
Yeah.
Could have been Einstein,
I'm not
too.
saying like
He's wearing a lab coat.
Yeah.
Yeah, it probably occurred to me at some point along the way. I just didn't really
Although
care.
the connection between Morty and Marty, like...
Yeah. Little on the nose.
Yeah.
Little on the nose.
The two
and then they even had, what's his name? Is it Christopher Lloyd?
Yeah.
He's in the real life version commercial of it.
Yeah, I did see that.
Yeah. I don't. It's obviously not Michael J. Fox, but.
Well, why obviously?
Because he's got Parkinson's and stopped acting.
That's not true.
What is he in? What has he been in?
The Good Wife and the spin-off of The Good Wife. Yeah, and he's got Parkinson's in it. He shakes.
Well, sure. But I thought he stopped.
I mean, I'm guessing he's not like a server of any kind.
No,
here's your lunch.
He plays an attorney, and it's kind of funny.
He could be in adult films.
It's kind of funny too because he tries. There's like a judge he's trying to sweeten up to who's in a wheelchair, and as an attorney, he's like, "So I suffer from a disease." You might like he's trying to relate to him based on the fact that they both.
Did you ever watch the Michael J. Fox show that they did? That was mostly about it was about him, his real life. And his struggles with Parkinson's.
No.
That was hard to watch.
Yeah, I don't.
To see like that level of an actor go through this shit, it's just heartbreaking.
I love me some Michael J. Fox, but I don't really care to be depressed about him either.
I think that's why that show didn't last, because everybody was just like, ugh.
I want to honor his memory. I'll go back and watch his movies.
There are some good ones.
Spin City.
Oh, Spin City was good.
Great show.
It annoyed me he had to leave because of the Parkinson's.
Yeah.
Like, he wouldn't have left. That show probably might have even still been going.
It was still good with Charlie Sheen.
Yeah. Not as good.
No.
Never is. Oh, Mike's sleeping over there because he wants to talk about Rick and Morty. So...
I thought that's why we're here.
I mean, no, you guys are just here to get away from your houses, your family, your kids.
I'm just here so KJ doesn't yell at me.
That's true.
That's also true. Also, we just gave you a sword, so... I don't feel like you can be sleeping.
It's a birthday sword.
And
it's not even your
took
birthday.
that sword like a champ, too. Hey-oh. Cricket. Insert cricket. You need one of those DJ booths where you can press a button and
I could just go take the cricket sound he already did and then just move it over.
There we go.
Yeah.
Now you're thinking with that head. Giant fucking head.
All right, so when this season was going, is this something that you thought, because it's Adult Swim, that it could get quickly canceled? Or something that you thought, because it's Adult Swim and they do...
You mean the first season?
Yeah.
Okay, we said this season, so...
I meant the first season. Something you guys thought could get canceled, or something that you thought could have longevity?
I never really think about things being canceled. I just be like, yeah, maybe I'd like to watch more of that. Yep. And then they make another season. I'm like, okay. Like, I'd like to watch more of Rick and Morty, but they probably may not do more Rick and Morty.
Or we're at least getting one more season of it.
That's what they say, which means that Justin Roiland has already probably made it.
Well, they're already hard on. They're already
yeah, he is.
hard at work completing it, but I don't know what they're supposed to. One, he's been let go from the show, and two, they are recasting the voices. So we are getting a season 7. Just will it be as good?
So as a co-producer, you can just be let go from your own show.
Oh yeah, it's on his he probably has like a morality contract. However, he technically hasn't been proven guilty of anything, except those messages, which are super sketchy as fuck, and talking to like a 15, 16-year-old girl, calling her jailbait, all that stuff. That's not what he got fired for. That's not what the charges are for, but it's super creepy and sketchy. Yeah. But anyway, let's
got to bring that morality right back into Rick and Morty.
I don't think Rick and Morty has morality at all.
That's what I'm saying.
We have incest babies. We have threesomes with ourselves.
You think like these shows are fucked up, but then somebody fucked up has to make the shows, and then it blows everyone's mind that they find out that these people are fucked up.
You're definitely not wrong.
Like,
but I don't think you're supposed to be thinking that.
All over the place, and then you're like, who would make a show like this? And then they're like, hey, this guy, and he does a thing that you're like,
Well, that's what makes me afraid for after season 7. Like, because I'm sure he was involved in some of the story writing and things like that for season 7. But after that, if you have a mind like his that is clearly fucked up, but it worked for the TV show, didn't work for obviously the underage person, didn't work for his wife, but it worked for the TV show. How do you replace something like that?
Look, she ran into him, okay?
It's probably gonna work out very well for her because she'll get all his money.
Yeah, but
while he's in jail,
most people will say that money doesn't, buy
money will
happiness.
buy an eye patch.
Well, most people are dumb. Yeah. What?
Oh, that's so bad. He said money will buy an eye patch.
Oh.
Yarr.
Oh, Jesus.
Well,
will also buy makeup.
I'm assuming if they try to continue the show, they'll get voice actors that can just mimic it. You know?
There's a ton of people all over, like,
and you
social
won't be able
media.
to tell from like how the voice sounds, probably. But I just wonder if their inflection and the way they read the lines will be as good.
Well, I'm more concerned about. So a lot of this show is ad-lib stuff.
Yeah, that's true.
So he might have stuff on the paper, but then during the moment, as he's talking, he just goes off on tangents. Almost all of the first interdimensional cable episode.
Oh yeah, it's
just him just riffing.
Well, and Dan Harmon too.
Yeah. And then they just animated stuff afterwards. It reminded me
he's the voice
of
both Rick and Morty, right?
Yes. Yep. But it reminded me of Aladdin, where Genie, Robin Williams, they put him in the studio, and then he just started talking as Genie towards one of the first scenes you see him, and then the animators just had to do what he was saying. Like, none of that stuff is written down.
It's lesser, but I'm also just realizing no more Solar Opposites, which granted I didn't even watch.
So we will potentially still have Solar Opposites, but they have fired him from it.
Well, that's what I mean. No more him in Solar Opposites,
Yes.
and he voices multiple characters in that too. And
That's
I don't
what
know if
happens.
they're going to make a sequel to High Life, but he was.
He's been fired from there too.
Well, were they making a sequel?
No, but it's not just his studio. It's not just my studio, and that's everything.
Oh, I just meant, if they made a sequel to that game and he was going to voice the characters.
No, it wouldn't be him voicing it anymore. It'd be somebody else.
I understand. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I just didn't know if they were even planning a sequel.
No idea, but they might be planning other games
That he was going to maybe
or
voice
be a
act
part of in some sense, but now he's no longer part of the studio.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah. It's very timely that we had talked about doing this episode, and then all this stuff started coming out. And then we got the episodes got delayed because of one reason or another, and then here we are now where he has been officially canned from Adult Swim, canned from Hulu's Solar Opposites, canned from the video game, and they have officially decided that they will recast the voices, so it's a weird spot to be in.
Well, so you know how you said he hasn't been found guilty yet?
Yes.
There's no question that he did beat his wife, though, at this point?
I mean, no, that's what they have to go to trial for. These charges were from back in, 2020.
Oh.
And he's just now getting...
Or, well, I should say it happened in 2020, and then the files were
So she
charges
brought
were
it up
brought.
later?
Yeah, I believe so.
Well, I don't know. That's more suspect.
So what if it's going to be one of those Johnny Depp kind of things? Like, well, he didn't really do it, but you've already been fucking canned.
And it's
from
not
all
his
this stuff.
wife, by the way. It's unnamed girlfriend.
Oh.
Yeah.
How old is she?
It
Yeah.
Yeah,
That might be the
that
key.
might be a thing.
That might be the...
But yeah, it was from an incident in January 2020.
Can't trust those 16-year-olds.
This is
They
even
lie.
pre-COVID. Yeah.
Yeah. It's nuts.
Yeah. And then there's a hearing scheduled for April for it. So
I'm worried.
if he's proven innocent or they dismiss the charges,
Then
I don't
they've
know what
ruined
happens.
all these shows for nothing.
Sure. But I think if you're a network, you're trying to err on the side of caution, but at a certain point, like, why would not
do that
why not
all the time though? I feel like I had the same problem with Disney.
Let me fucking finish.
No.
Why not suspend him? Like, pending an investigation.
The same difference.
No, it's not, because he's still under contract and he still has everything else. And
they don't want to pay him.
As long as, well,
they're not going to pay
potentially
him,
suspend without pay.
This is not police.
So then who cares?
Because there's a big difference
they're
between
still ruining
firing,
all the shows and taking away his money.
No, it's just postponing the show.
Yeah, I don't think they're ever going to do that.
I'm just saying, rather than firing until they're proven guilty.
How about you just let them continue with their day job until they're proven guilty, and then you fire them?
Because it's PR, that's a nightmare.
As a society, we should give people the benefit of the doubt until they're proven guilty.
Yeah, that is my problem. Again.
I understand.
We don't.
I'm just saying they should.
I mean, I don't think you do either. I think when you hear somebody gets charged with something, your first instinct isn't, well, I mean, let's hear what happened. I think your first instinct, depending on what the issue is like, fuck that guy or fuck that girl.
It depends how it's portrayed. So when you told me, you said he beat his wife.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's the allegation.
Not only did he not beat his wife.
Not only was it not his wife. Would you read the headline?
No.
Fucking Dylan Jr. over here. Can't read past the headline.
No, it was just, it's one of the charges.
Okay, but so, and I assumed when you told me about it that it just happened. This happened
2 years ago.
Yeah.
3 years ago.
Almost 3 years ago.
Yeah.
And I don't know. That I'm not saying stuff, it couldn't be true. It very likely is, but I don't know. Until you're guilty, I don't think they should fire you and ruin your whole career.
Right. Again, the Johnny Depp situation where he gets removed from Pirates of the Caribbean,
although
found
he's coming
innocent.
Back for it. So
what's that?
He's coming back to the newest. Oh yeah.
Says fucking who?
Yeah.
I mean, all the reports that have come out and how much money they're going to throw at him.
He literally said, "I will never work for Disney ever again."
People say a lot of things.
Okay. Well,
she said he did all these things. See?
I thought I literally saw, though, that The Rock was getting involved with it. Okay.
Getting involved with...
I like how he's just like, no, you didn't.
No, you didn't.
No, you didn't.
I'm sure you saw a headline and went, The Rock Pirates? Oh, my God.
Yeah. Says the guy who said it was his wife.
Maybe I actually look at some stuff, unlike you guys who just show up cold.
Look at what?
I watched Rick and Morty.
You looked at pirates?
No, you jackass.
What are you talking about?
I do research before you fucking people show up.
Not very good research.
It was a girl he was dating, his wife.
Okay.
Same fucking difference. Yeah. It literally doesn't change the charge at all.
Did a bunch of research, didn't know about any of the comic
doesn't change the charge.
Well, domestic battery.
It would still be domestic, whether she's your wife or not.
No.
Wait. What if she was from overseas?
I knew you were going to fucking do that.
Loophole.
Yeah.
Oh, fucking terrible. All right, so let's move off the bad stuff for right now. We might get back into it after. Let's talk about favorite episodes.
I like the one where he beats the shit out of it.
There's a lot of episodes where he's beating the shit out of a lot of people.
When he forces his grandson to keister a seed. I thought that was a good episode, KJ.
That's episode 1.
Now we're on to happier times in this conversation. What do you think we're talking about?
Yeah, that's literally episode 1.
Dude, him hitting his wife is probably the least grotesque thing we're going to talk about in Rick and Morty.
There's just so many scenes in Rick and Morty. If you take away him being potentially a disgusting human being, but definitely a disgusting human being for the messages to the underage chick.
Are those real messages?
Nobody has proven them not real. And it's from like his verified account.
I could screenshot random stuff and turn it into gross stuff and post it online.
Yes, you have the ability to Photoshop something that somebody would be able to disprove very quickly if they know anything about Photoshop. I'm saying these have been looked at and no one has been able to prove that they're fake.
Or real.
I mean, by definition, if you can't prove it's fake, it's kind of real.
Why?
I mean, that's the other option.
So if you can't prove it's real, it's fake.
Yes, agreed.
If you can't prove it's fake, it's real.
Agreed. Like, I don't know what we're arguing
unless
here.
He showed up at a house with a bag of condoms and beer, he's
and
in
Chris
the clear.
Hansen was there. What are you doing here?
Yeah.
What are you doing here?
Didn't Chris Hansen get like in trouble?
Yeah, but it wasn't for this exact same thing.
Okay.
He
just looked in a mirror and was like, "Hey, what are you doing here, Chris Hansen? Why'd you have a seat there?" No, I don't want to have a seat.
You've distracted from favorite episodes though.
Was there not a Chris Hansen episode?
There wasn't a Chris Hansen.
It feels like it fits in the show very well.
No, he'd be afraid of Chris Hansen. You don't just put that in there.
Yeah, that's true. All right, favorite episode.
Yeah.
I mean, Citadel Rick episodes are always pretty good.
Yeah.
Well, the Citadel Rick episodes always progress the story. Like, there's always the overarching story.
Literally not true, because one of
them that didn't have to do with Rick and Morty.
Yeah, they went to Atlantis.
Yeah, so we didn't get to see it.
Yeah.
Dude, I love their little nods, because I'm sure somebody at the network was like, hey, that was a really good episode of the Citadel Rick. You should do more of that. But it actually did progress the story of their overarching theme, because that's where you learn about Evil Morty again.
The running for president.
Yeah, running for president and becoming president.
Yeah, that's true.
So
I just mean it didn't involve them as characters.
But it did involve the story that we're at right now.
Evil Morty then goes into a different galaxy?
No, so he goes into a different universe similar to...
And then they close the universe.
No, so they close the gap to get into the other universes. Right now, all the universes that Rick and Morty are in are all the ones where Rick is the smartest person in the world.
Universe.
No, in that world, and then all those universes are together.
He's the smartest person in the universe.
In that universe, and then they're all on this, like, chain spiral, whatever they called it in the episode, for all of them. And then any of the ones where he's not the smartest man in the world is outside. And that's where that Morty went, was to a different universe.
But there was, like, a slit. Like, he, like, used something to, like, cut through space-time.
Yes.
And he goes through it, and then, like, the dinosaurs close it.
Yes, so they can't now go after him. Doesn't mean they won't be able to find a way back or anything like that. But it's just, if you think of...
What was the point of it, then?
He didn't want to be in a universe where Rick was the
I understand
be-all,
that, but, like, now that it's done.
Well, no, they can easily bring it back up, but now I think we're going to be focusing...
Anymore. Now it's going to be Richard and Mortimer.
No, now we're mostly going to be focusing on Rick trying to get back at the original Rick. The Rick that ended up killing his family.
Rick trying to get back his vocal cords.
Well, yeah. Although there are a ton of people on social media that do a pretty good Rick and a pretty good Morty, so we could have others that fill in that gap. I think I would prefer that, because honestly, I didn't realize at first that Justin voiced all of these characters. I assume he voiced a few, but I didn't assume that he voiced as many as he did. So if you get characters or voice actors that sound very similar, I won't even notice the difference.
Well, unless they do a worse job doing the acting.
It's
sure,
yeah, right. It's a weird thing because, like, when I watched Family Guy, you hear like Meg season 1 voiced by
the girl from Mean Girls.
Yeah. The fuck is her name? Can't remember anyway. And then after that, it's
Mila
Kunis.
Yep.
Which sounds better.
Yeah, it does.
But now we're 6 seasons into Rick and Morty, so it's like kind of hard because like Family Guy shifted right off the bat, and this is shifting much later. But it'd be like if Seth MacFarlane left and they have to voice a ton of characters like Brian, Stewie, Peter.
Right. But I still think that that's not necessarily a bad thing. Like, if they could probably find people that have the exact same voice as he has for Brian.
Right, but it's not so much like the voice is going to be a big thing, but like also, like you said, like
the ad-libbing is huge.
The ad-libbing and acting the character.
Sure, but the ad-libbing thing I think is even more important because one of the reasons Justin is able to do it is because he sold Adult Swim on this idea of him ad-libbing, and then it's worked for all these years. So let's say let's say you could do a perfect Rick. You can't, but let's say you could, right?
Can't.
Right. But let's say you absolutely 100% you're spot on. Are they going to trust you to ad-lib? Of course not. They're just going to give you the lines, here you go, read it, and then we move on. So you're not going to get these potential moments of brilliance that nobody knew was going to happen.
Right. Which is, I feel like it's going to take away from the story.
Yeah, I know. Well, maybe not the story. It's just going to take away from some of the funny references that we get. because there are so many of them in the show. It's one of the reasons why, and Corey brought it up earlier, but there are so many shows that I've tried to watch. Like, I get through episode 1, maybe through episode 2, and they're hard to watch for one reason or another. Always Sunny, the first episode is so cringy. The Office, the episode is so cringy that it took me years to finally get into these shows. Rick and Morty, the same thing. I tried watching it, got through the first episode, and I didn't understand the ad-libbing. I didn't understand what he was trying to do, and all of it just sounded really weird and sounded very amateurish. However, as you're going through the show, you kind of see what he's going for and just letting his mind work and coming up with some of these ideas that are genius. Now, if you don't have him, you're not going to have those moments of genius. You might still have some good episodes here and there. You might still have that overarching theme that they have for what they're trying to show with this Rick, with dealing with his loss of his family and then trying to get revenge on this other Rick. You might still have those, but I don't think you're going to have the moments or the references or the random jokes that are some of the funniest in there because you don't have the rift. And I don't know how many more, like the interdimensional cable episodes or mind blowers episodes, like you're not going to have that where they're just riffing, because it's going to be Dan Harmon and person A and person B who's voicing Rick and another person probably voicing Morty.
Right. Well, the real question is how much did Dan Harmon put into the show that Justin Roiland is going to take away? Like how much of this story did he help develop? So
one of my biggest things in my life and career is that I could be a genius, you could be a genius, whatever it is. You coming up with your own idea isn't going to be as good as us coming up with an idea together, because you have somebody to bounce the idea off of. And if you have two creative geniuses with Justin and Dan, you're going to come up with a better idea than one of them by themselves. So I'm worried about that too, because if it's just Dan by himself doing it, are we potentially not going to get as good as we could have gotten? Even if it's passable, even if it's watchable and enjoyable, are we still going to be missing out on something that we could have had with both of their creative geniuses together?
Right.
Yeah. And that's not an answer we're ever going to have, because we're never going to probably have another season with Justin. So even let's say the next 3 seasons are great, you know,
I wonder how much of the 7th season that they've taped already, though.
I don't know. I know they're working on it.
They're finishing it up. Like they might have already gotten his lines done. So
yeah, but I also don't know. Do you want to use those? Or do you have the other person come in? Because let's say he had already filmed 5 episodes of The Voice, right?
Well, true, but it might be one of those things where it's like, all right, he's already taped the lines. He hasn't been found guilty of anything yet. We'll ride it out.
Yeah, well, I think if they were going to ride it out, it would have been, they wouldn't have fired him.
Maybe.
But let's say
it took him a long ass time to do that, though.
Well, part of it was when the charges came out. But let's say that he already filmed 5 out of the 10 episodes, like his voice, and then they hired somebody else to do the voice of Rick. I would rather have that person be the voice from episode 1. I don't want to get 5 episodes in and then maybe get a different voice. Even if it's very similar, I would rather have one consistent voice through all 10 episodes, or however many episodes.
Season 1 was kind of that way. I feel like he sounded completely different in the
He was drunk as fuck.
Okay, then whatever it was, but the first few episodes versus the last few, it's very different.
Yes.
Like the actual person was drunk?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. There's so many videos of him in the sound booth just knocking him back.
Yeah, he used to get shit-faced when he did it.
Which is one of the reasons why Rick just sounds shit-faced, which he is in the show. So it sounds like good acting, but he's just
had a very, you know how Daniel Day-Lewis gets in character? He had a
method acting?
Yeah, he had a very strong approach to it. He'd get drunk, hit his wife, hit on a 14-year-old, and then he'd get in that booth and give you gold.
I don't know if Rick ever hit on a 14-year-old.
No, I'm just saying.
Did he ever hit on Jessica? I remember.
He did stuff with aliens, and we don't really know.
Those aliens.
You don't know what the age of consent is with a cephalopod.
He also fucked a planet.
Yep. He fucked a hive mind, too.
He did fuck a hive mind. Yeah.
And
the show's a little weird.
Yeah.
So yeah.
If you're not familiar with the show,
Yeah.
it's just like Roseanne.
No.
How old's the planet?
Well, I have to assume that it's millions of years old.
That's a great episode. Then he fights God.
He does.
God,
No, he fights Zeus. Doesn't fight God.
I'm pretty sure they say he's
No,
God.
he literally specifically says it's not God. That would be a whole other episode. No, it's basically their version of Zeus.
Yeah, but they don't ever call him Zeus, I don't think, do
Yeah,
they?
he even says this is like, I'm pretty sure his almost exact words is this is like Zeus.
I'll look it up.
Go ahead. Mr. It was a comic first.
Mr. I didn't know they had comics.
Why would I need to know that? We're talking about the TV show, not the comic.
No, we're talking about Rick and Morty.
The TV show.
You never said that.
The TV show. When have we had an episode on comics?
Huh?
Have we had an episode on comics?
We literally talk about comics when we talk about DC movies, Marvel movies.
You guys do. I'm talking about the fucking comics.
That's because you aren't even a nerd.
Yeah, thank you. I mean, I don't know how to respond
No, you're not
to that.
cool either. You're literally just this like amalgam of shittiness. Just bad attitude that lies in the middle of all of the cool things.
All right. So who's your guys' favorite character out of everybody in the family? Well, we didn't even get to the favorite episodes.
Citadel.
That's your favorite episode?
The god's name is Reggie.
Yeah.
Literally not Zeus. It's just some guy named Reggie.
No, he references to him being Zeus. He's also shoots him with lightning like 6 times.
Yeah, but he's not Zeus.
I didn't say he was Zeus. He says their version of Zeus.
I don't know.
Anyway. So what episodes favorite-wise? So you've mentioned the Citadel. I can't imagine those are your favorite episodes, though. Really?
I like finding out like there's the Rick and the Morty for every Rick and Morty. Like when they first go to the Citadel and you see all the different Ricks and all the Mortys. I thought that was hilarious.
Oh yeah, seeing all the different variations was definitely something I wasn't expecting, but was hilarious.
Yeah.
Not so much there were different versions of Rick, but obviously the variations of Morty, there's a significant amount. To the point where they even came out with a video game, which is very much like Pokemon, where you play as Rick, and then you go collect Mortys. Just like you would Pokemon. And
So I wonder if
so
they're going to use the fact that they're going to have a new voice for Rick to find Rick Prime. And is that actually Rick Prime?
Well, that is Rick. I mean, we had introduced to Rick Prime in the last episode.
Yeah, but we haven't met him, and we don't actually know.
What do you
if
mean we
it's
haven't met him?
He's like trying to find him, like in the.
We see him though,
right?
Or do you see a clone? Don't
right.
They literally say that.
Yeah, he says,
"Is that me? Or
is that me?
a
Is there
yeah, but
somebody
then
else?"
when he lands on the planet, it's him because then he even kills Jerry,
I don't remember.
the beefed up Jerry, the one from their original universe.
Is this? Are you talking about end of season 6?
Yes, the last episode.
Kills beefed up Jerry.
Yeah,
I will say one of my favorite
or beginning of this season. It's when he's trying to get. They're trying to close the rift. So yeah, it's the beginning. It's beginning of season 6. He kills. Because remember how they all start blinking at the beginning of season 6? They all go back to their original realities.
No, you find out that like Rick was a robot at the end of season 6.
He was only a robot from the episode where Morty started
in the sun
doing the sun thing. Yeah,
to the end, and then he lets him in on the fact that he's been hunting Rick Prime,
who you meet in the first episode of season 6.
But he says it could be a clone.
He says it could be me, it could be a clone, but then he basically escapes in a pod, lands on the Earth, and then kills Jerry, but the beefed up Jerry from the timeline where Rick and Morty turn everybody in the town into those creatures.
Right, but that's what I'm saying. Like, what if we find out that Rick Prime is actually this new voiced character?
Yeah, but I mean, it shouldn't be. Wait, what do you mean? Because I have 2 thoughts of what you just said.
Like,
so what do you mean?
They go to find Rick Prime,
yep.
And the one that they've been chasing isn't Rick Prime, but you find Rick Prime, and it's actually voiced by their new voice.
So who's going to be this old voice?
Eliminated. Like, that they get eliminated, and all the rest are clones, and now there's new timeline of Ricks.
Yeah, but then, I mean, I think that defeats the purpose of trying to find Rick Prime and have the old Rick bring him to justice for killing his family.
Well, that's the point. Like, the old Rick dies.
Oh,
Like,
you're saying that you thinking this old Rick dies because of what's happened with Justin.
yes.
Okay.
I think they kill him off, and Rick Prime is going to end up being this new thing. It's going to be a whole new timeline of chasing other Ricks.
Well, you do know that they've confirmed that some of the episodes we're watching are not the original Rick and Morty. Like, it's not the same Rick and Morty for every single episode. Sometimes we're, like, focused on a different timeline.
Oh,
Rick
yeah,
and
I
Morty,
know.
Which is definitely not what I expected when I was watching this show.
Yeah,
I expected to follow a character.
It's super hard to follow.
Yeah, you kind of have to dive into it, watch it numerous times.
It's very non-episodic.
Yeah, non-linear but linear.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's all the same.
So, like, the Purge episode was really funny. Pickle Rick, obviously, is one that people bring up.
Lawnmower Dog's my favorite.
Which is
or
it?
one of my favorite.
The dog that takes Snowball takes over.
I was gonna say it's got one of my favorite lines in it where he wakes Summer up in the middle of the
night.
Where
are my balls, Summer?
Where are my balls, Summer? Where are my balls?
So I wasn't a giant fan of Vindicators, but I love that he gets so blackout drunk that he does a saw.
Yeah.
Like,
Lawnmower Dog too is the one with Scary Terry.
Yes, that bitch.
So not only do you have the Lawnmower Dog, which is funny in its own right, but you have Scary Terry.
I think Scary Terry is funnier.
The lawnmower, the dog Snuffles just has a funny thing. He's like, Snuffles was my slave name. He goes, you will call me Snowball because my coat is white and fluffy.
Yep, that's definitely a good one.
Then he makes fucking Jerry sniff his pee because he shoves his face in the room. Oh, that one was great.
Yeah. There's so many there's so many references. Obviously, anything with the president has basically been great. Like, I think you first get introduced to him in Get Swifty, and he's okay in that.
It's the Oval Office scene that does it for me. That's one of my favorites.
The deterrent is great.
Yeah, where the guy dies. He goes, he just died instantly. There was no sound, no nothing. He just dead.
Well, no, I'm not even talking about that one.
Oh.
Where he says, "Don't touch me, you'll die," or "If you touch me, you'll die," and then he dies.
Literally, what I'm talking about.
I thought it because there's one where he turns him into a snake.
No, I'm talking about literally the guy touches him and he's like, "Don't do it. You don't know what's in the afterlife," and he says all this stuff. Guy touches him, drops dead, and then the general's like, "What happened? There was no sound. There was no nothing."
Oh, that's in the Oval Office, right? Yeah. Okay. Yeah. All right.
And then he goes, "What about something that just knocks him out?" And he's like,
"How is that a deterrent?"
He's like, "People pay good money for drugs that knock them out all the time. How's that a deterrent?"
Yeah, that's a good one. And then
does anyone have a shot? Yes, all of them, but I wouldn't do it because they're dead.
That whole fight scene with him and the president is great. Yeah. And them breaking through everything in the White House and seeing like the fake moon landing and things like that.
Yeah,
were nice little references that were really funny. That's the episode. Is that the episode with Minecraft? Where that's how that whole episode starts with before they start fighting, right? Because Rick or Morty eventually wants an autograph, but they're playing Minecraft, and then the president calls them to try to get the thing, capture the thing.
Yeah.
They even make a reference to how long the season takes to make, and like South Park did this 10 years ago, doing like a Minecraft episode.
Yeah. No, I like that one. I'm trying to think what other ones.
Show me what you got.
That's a good one. Dude, this show is not doing good ratings-wise, though. Oh, my God. It has gone down so much. Like, season 2, we were at, like, 2.2 million people. And season 3, we even got up to, like, 2.6, 2.7. And then, like, season 4 is at, like, 1.3. Season 5 is barely got over 1 million in only 2 episodes. And then season 6 didn't get above 0.6 million.
I like the episode 2 where he escapes the prison and then teleports it into the Citadel.
Yeah, because he's always like, gotta go take a shit.
I gotta take a shit.
Yeah. That's a good one. And you obviously see that he like jumps Rick's bodies like 100 times. Because his original Rick is dead.
Yeah.
So many times over. Or where he keeps coming back, and that might be the same episode. I think it is the same episode, where he keeps coming back and showing up in other Rick's places, and it's always the Nazi Germany. type of Rick house. Everybody is very loyal to the Kaiser.
The vat of acid episode.
Oh, the vat. They actually put that in. I don't know if it won or not, but that's the episode they put into to win an Oscar
Vat
or
of acid.
Emmy. Yeah, the vat of episode. Vat of acid.
I just love how you think Rick's like being helpful, and then he's like, "Oh, geez, maybe we get in that vat at the end."
Yeah, that's the reset button episode, right?
Yeah, and then it turns out it wasn't being reset.
Such a good montage episode with the reset button.
Oh yeah. Really funny too when Jerry is the one who accidentally presses
just
the
accidentally does it. It's really good. And then oh look, the vat of acid. And then the guy, oh fuck you guys, I'm immune to acid.
Yeah.
Mike, any good memories, any good scenes that come to mind when you think of Rick and Morty?
I mean, I don't know if I have a photographic memory like you guys have, apparently.
I wouldn't call it photographic. There's just certain scenes that stick out just because it's funny. Yeah, nothing? All right.
I mean, I think it's funny when I watch it, but I guess I don't like...
Keep it in there. You watch it, laugh, and then it goes right out.
Just Pickle Rick.
Pickle Rick is good. Yeah. All right, so what about character-wise? So out of the family, who do we like?
Rick.
Who's our favorite? Is it Rick?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think Rick makes the most sense. Although there's something to be said for Jerry. Jerry is so fucking funny.
Jerry might be
Jerry's
my number
awful.
2. Yeah.
You don't like Jerry?
No.
Oh my god, he's so good. He's so perfect as that character. The episode
He's
where
so miserable.
they accidentally kidnap him and put him in the fake reality.
Yeah,
and he's thinking he's trying to come up with a slogan for apples.
Got apples.
And then he has sex with his holographic wife, and it's the best ever.
And then she's glitching.
And she's glitching,
and
yeah.
she's not moving.
Yeah,
Yes.
it's so good. Yeah. My man.
My man.
My man. Yeah.
It's just so good. The episode where they put him in the daycare.
Yeah.
It's so good.
And then
I know,
but isn't sure which
So
ticket
making
was his.
fun of a character doesn't mean it's not the character that you like.
Oh, that character. No.
You're just pitying the character.
No. That episode where he's there and he's like, I'm just going to leave. And then the fake Beth comes in, hey, we want to watch this movie. And then they go and all sit and watch a movie. And then they have to,
figure out the cables.
Figure out the cables is a good one. And then, so that we just had in season 6, we had the incest kind of, is it incest if you fuck yourself? I'm not sure if that's incest, but where Beth and Beth fuck each other and then eventually end up having a threesome with Jerry. And then because of that, Jerry goes back to the daycare to try to have sex with another Jerry, but just ends up kissing him at the end. Like they go in a dark alley and then just kiss real quick and then say thank you and walk off. Dude, it's so fucking funny. He has the whole arc where he gets divorced.
I feel like it's not funny though. It's just
I couldn't stop laughing.
It's cringy.
Well, yeah, I mean, they literally have the hell episode where the hell
I know. So cringy.
Yes.
Yeah, it's so good.
Yeah.
It's so good. Plus,
Your
it's
cringes.
what's his face from Archer, and I can't Cyril Figgis, but I don't remember his name as a real actor.
Yeah, I can't think of it.
I should probably have that, right? Chris Parnell.
Yeah.
There it is. But it's also got Sarah Chalk, and I love Sarah Chalk from Roseanne and then also from Scrubs.
Yeah.
So, and her playing Beth is great. And
then Summer's played by, is her name literally Summer Graham? Or it's Kelsey Grammer's daughter.
Spencer Grammer?
Spencer Grammer. Yeah.
And she's great in the show too.
Yeah.
For her part, I like that sometimes they give her a bigger part, but then pull her back.
Yeah.
The episode where they have like the Transformers / Power Rangers setup, like it's almost an episode completely about Summer and her relationship with Rick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Talking about the Voltron thing.
Yes, the Voltron. Yep.
What are they called? Go-Go
bots?
No, they're ferrets or something.
Well, yeah, but aren't they called Go-Go bots?
Go Cat.
I don't know.
Go Ferret.
Go Ferret.
They are. They're like ferrets.
I know. They definitely look like ferrets.
No, they are.
Well, I understand, but they no time do they say go ferrets.
They do.
I don't think so.
I don't
I've got
think
the
they're
list
called
of episodes.
Go-Go Ferrets.
They are. Gotron.
Yeah.
Gotrons.
Go-Gotrons. Go-Gotron ferrets.
I don't know. I also just like, there's a lot of episodes where there's like one or two lines that just stand
out. Yeah,
like the butter robot. It's like,
what is my purpose?
You serve the butter. Oh my god. It's a great line.
Dude, that's in a bunch of stuff. Like I see it as a
that
meme all the
everywhere.
time.
Oh yeah. What is my purpose?
3D printed it and it holds my pen.
Yeah.
That's its purpose. It says, "What is my purpose?" Above
holding
it.
a
It's
pen.
just him holding the pen. Yeah.
All right. So what about outside of the family? Who's the favorite character? It doesn't have to be necessarily a returning one. Could just be a one-off character.
It's hard not to like the president, but I'm trying to think of other ones right now.
President is a pretty good one.
Like, I don't know, Squanch, Bird Person. They're never going to be in my top favorite. I do like Gear Person just because he goes, how much do you know about the Gear Wars? Nothing.
Oh, you're in for a treat.
He gets so excited. And then when he puts on the Vindicator's jacket and stuff's going down, he's like, runs away.
Yeah. Well, because he's like talking to like a couple
he's
high school
pick up
girls. I'm pretty sure they're high school girls. Oh God.
Yeah.
We should have known.
Yeah.
But no. So there's obviously
I'm squatching here.
The episode where you have all the characters that are parasites.
Yeah.
is
Total Recall.
Yeah, and then we also have that's where you first meet Mr. Poopy Butthole.
Yeah.
Yep. So he's pretty good in a lot of the episodes. He's mostly, besides for that episode, he's mostly like at the end of the season, the end credits, except for the episode they had about the heist. I loved the heist episode because there's so many movies that do that exact same premise of the heist where it's always you expect one thing, but then it's actually something else, and it's just because they didn't tell you something in the beginning. And that's what a lot of heist movies, especially on like Netflix, Hulu, and even out in theaters are. So I love that they did a whole episode on that with like 7 different twists that weren't twists, and then the twist at the end that this was all set up just for Morty not to sell his movie, so he would spend time with his grandpa. But he's in that episode too because he makes him beat up a bunch of kids in his class.
Yeah, I was trying to think of who my favorite guest star is because there's obviously, I don't remember his name.
Elon Tusk.
Yeah, that's not bad.
That was a funny one.
But you have the guy who's...
Isn't it voiced by Elon Musk, too?
Yeah, you have the guy who's... I can't remember the actor's name, but want to build an app?
Oh, yeah, that's a good one. The app one, yeah.
And then you got Stephen Colbert as the scientist within the battery.
Yes, the mini-verse and then the microverse.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a good one.
Was a good
Stephen Colbert is great. Mr. Nimbus is hilarious. He's been in a couple episodes now.
Yeah.
What is his name? Oh, Ice-T was great in one episode.
Yeah. I mean, they had a lot. Christian Slater was in the Vindicators.
Yes.
Oh God, why am I blanking on his name? Mike, Firefly Captain. What's his name?
Nathan Fillion.
He's
in a lot. Of episodes.
Yeah. Scary Terry.
Scary Terry is a really good one episode character. Yeah. Their whole arc with him of running away from him and then being like, well, he keeps telling us that we can run and we can hide, but what if we hide?
Mr. Meeseeks.
Meeseeks is a good one. That's one of in the first season, like in the first couple episodes.
Yeah.
I love the idea of, well, we can't do this or how do we take swings off his golf game? Well, it's impossible. So if we kill him, technically he's got no swings.
Yeah.
So that completes our mission.
Yeah.
Like, that's a fantastic premise to me. All right, Mike, so what are you hoping for in season 7? Is it I don't think it was your hope before this happened with Justin. You had mentioned about if they found Rick Prime and Rick Prime kind of became the new character and then you're kind of following him. But I assume that's only because of the Justin thing. But if the Justin thing didn't happen and we were going to get the regular Rick and Morty we were going to get.
There's no like linear story with Rick and Morty though. It's not like they like go and do something. Like, it's their stories are all over the fucking
So there's
place.
usually 2 episodes a season that are linear-ish, which is the first episode of the season and the last episode of the season usually have to do with the overarching theme of Rick and Morty, which is usually him trying to catch Rick Prime, and then also what was going on.
So I just want to let you know
Morty.
that out of 6 seasons, you're saying 12 episodes.
Yeah,
push the story along.
Yes, and everything else is just extra.
So what?
episodic.
So What do I expect out of 2 of the
No, not just that.
10
Just
episodes?
are you expecting them to get even crazier with it? Because where do you go from an incest giant baby in space?
I think they go less crazy. I feel like they're gonna try to tone it down to try to save face
because of the Justin thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
And also his creative parts aren't going to be in the show any longer, and you're going to have new voices. It's going to be weird. It's going to be weird episodes.
Yeah.
That unfortunately I have to watch.
Well, yeah, we're definitely going to watch it. And then we'll probably do another episode in the new season. What about you, Corey? What are you wanting, or what were you wanting before all this shit happened from a season 7?
I don't know. I kind of given up really expecting things from Rick and Morty, and I just kind of enjoy it when it comes out.
So I do know in like the episode where they have the story conductor guy.
Yeah.
I don't remember his name now. The story lord, and then Jesus, where they team up a bit. They even mention like it was better in season whatever, and them basically speaking as the writers / a nod to the audience. I was like, that doesn't tell us anything. That doesn't mean anything. So for me, I love the meta stuff. I love where it's meta but not overplayed meta, where it's just meta constantly. If you have one episode where it is, that's fine. Like that one was super. But I'm wondering how much crazier they can get with it. I kind of want it. But as Mike said, and he might be right, they might tone it down a bit and try to get more like reality-ish based of just maybe exploring other worlds rather than crazy things happening.
I think they jumped the shark by giving Rick's backstory.
Well, they did that in season 1 or 2, and then they just didn't confirm it until later on, because it's that episode where they kidnap him and he's in the Shoney's.
Yeah, but
they didn't confirm it then.
Yeah, and we also didn't get the level of detail we got after the fact.
Right, we just saw that he blew up because of basically himself.
Right. So anyway, I think it's I don't know. I think they might go back to more of an episodic thing where every episode's kind of a standalone. So like you have
I think a lot of them in season 6 were.
Well, I mean, yes and no. They still push the story along throughout the season.
The incest baby pushed the
Wait, is season 6 the one we just had?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, wait.
What did the incest baby push?
The incest baby.
Yeah, where Morty gets the horse thing on his penis.
That's season 6?
Yeah.
That's in the one that just happened.
Yeah.
That's weird. I
grabbing the name of it
before. It didn't, but I'm saying overall, I feel like they did push the story along.
Dude, the names don't help me. Like,
just type in
Ricklestar, Rictacula.
Just type in big loads. And it'll pop right up.
So they introduce him in season 5, but he's in season 6 where he helps them
I knew that.
with the Go-Go-Tron.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah.
What did the Go-Go-Trons do? What did that progress forward?
It didn't, but I'm just saying throughout the season, I feel like they progressed the storyline of Rick looking for this prime Rick.
They do it in the first episode, obviously. They do it in the episode.
I'm just saying they might abandon it altogether, because where else do you go in these great storylines that are trailing?
You're trying to track him.
Yeah. They might just go back to more episodic the whole time.
I feel like it's probably going to stick to the episode 1 is all about the overarching theme. Episode 10 is about the overarching theme. And then 2 through 9 might have tiny little elements of it, if they have any. And then it'll most likely be random stories that happen. We had a whole episode that was inside of a story train that literally had nothing to do with the real Rick and Morty. So who knows what they're going to give us.
Yeah.
But it's supposed to be out later this year, was the tentative date, but now with everything going on with Justin, who knows when we get it. All right, Mike, closing thoughts, Rick and Morty. What do you got for us?
It's really good.
Just really good.
Yeah.
You said that with such conviction that I almost believed you.
I like it. I like Rick and Morty. It's so all over the place that it keeps your attention.
Which usually isn't what things do. When something's all over the place, usually you can lose focus and be
but
like,
it's like
I
one
don't
of those
care.
things like, what are they gonna do next?
Yeah,
like, just crazy. And then it's sci-fi. I like sci-fi.
Yeah, and it's animated sci-fi, so they can literally do whatever the fuck they want.
Whatever they want, yeah.
All right, Corey, final thoughts?
I concur that it is really good.
Good plus.
Yeah.
Wait, don't do Good Plus, because I'm pretty sure that becomes like a monthly subscription charge that I don't want to pay for.
Oh, no, that's what we're going to have to
do for this?
Put our channel, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so if you start after subscribing, they're going to be good pluses.
Oh, okay.
All right. One good plus per month.
Per month, Jesus. All right. We got to be like a
monthly
little sparingly with them. All right, for me, it's a really good show. If you can get through some of the ad-lib stuff and appreciate it, you're going to enjoy it. If you like sci-fi, if you liked Back to the Future, if you like crazy off-the-wall shit that you're not really going to expect, it's a show that hits that on so many levels. The episode where Beth and Space Beth and Jerry end up having sex, and then there's a scene while they're doing that of the kids literally trying to eat in the kitchen is one of the funniest episodes to me, just because of their reaction to it. I feel like
you've brought up the episode where
it's
they
so
bang
fucking
themselves
funny
so many times.
I've brought it up
like
3 times.
Of yours, you just stare in the mirror and like, God, I'd love to get a piece of that ass.
It's so fucking funny.
So literally though, right? It's like the
5th time. It's the 3rd time.
I've never been into Corey's KJ's bedroom, but I guarantee
you've been into mine though. I like how you had to.
I moved you into your bedroom first
true.
of all.
Yeah.
I've never been into KJ's bedroom, but I can almost guarantee it has a mirror on the ceiling.
There is no mirror on the ceiling, unfortunately.
Just you could just stare.
That's what I have a phone for. I could do a little flip camera thing, and I can just look at myself. It's right there.
Wow. Just the fact that you thought of that makes me think that you've done it.
I have a brain that works at more than,
That's like that's oddly specific.
Not really. If I don't have a mirror, what else could have my reflection? I could have used my TV. I can see myself in the TV.
But you didn't say the TV.
No, my phone. I always have my phone on me. It's right here somewhere.
I'm surprised your phone can fit that big head in it.
Oh, it can't. I haven't aimed at other things. Don't you worry.
Oh, it definitely can fit that.
All right, so let's wrap this one up. I don't know what we're doing next week. And then knowing Corey, he'll be sick. So it'll probably end up being just Mike or I or
I'll
just
either be
me.
sick or I'll be here sick of you. I mean, either way. Like, we'll see what happens.
That's hurtful, man. It's just so hurtful.
It's true. Let's face it.
Yeah, I don't know what next week is. We'll figure it out.